Welcome here to Wembley, where we're all just catching our breath. I'm delighted to be joined by Simon Johnson, who's football correspondent for the Evening Standard and follows regularly and intricately the events happening at Chelsea. And we thought tonight we'd do something a bit different than a review, sort of how a night like this unfolds and the reporting of it. First of all, from what you saw, which will be the scene-stealing incident from Manchester City winning yet another title, which cannot be underestimated. But when you were watching it unfurl, could you imagine how long it was taking and that a player was refusing to come off for so long?
Speechless at the time, to be honest. I've never seen anything like it. I keep saying on an annual basis that I've seen everything there is to see as far as Chelsea are concerned. And they always manage to surprise me. And I have to say, yes, there's a lot of talk of a misunderstanding and so on and so forth, but it didn't look good for Kepa, it didn't look good for Chelsea, and it certainly didn't look good for Sarri, and it completely overshadowed what had been a very promising performance no matter what had happened in the ensuing shootout.
That was a remarkable thing because Sarri had done everything bar putting Kante in that holding midfield role, and I almost nearly joked, come on, let's have the anti-stubborn Sarri bingo and just put Kante in that role for the last 5 minutes to confound everyone. But he'd done everything so well, and they had carried out all his instructions so well.
Yeah, I mean, he showed perhaps what he should have shown before now, a change in tactics. Whilst the formation was technically the same, it was a false 9, but really a 4-5-1 to frustrate Man City rather than a 4-3-3. But it worked a treat, and Manchester City, you have to say, for a team of their ability, they seemed frustrated, they sort of ran out of ideas. And Chelsea were looking, they were the stronger. They looked like they were finishing the stronger. As far as the substitutions go, as far as jaw-dropping moments, before the Kepa incident, there's the jaw-dropping incident that the first substitution was Hudson-Odoi coming on.
And then
what completely blew us away was that Ross Barkley came off. We weren't shocked about that because he always comes off when he starts. But it wasn't Kovacic, it was Ruben Loftus-Cheek. And you have to say that substitution worked. In fact, both of them were working because I thought Hudson-Odoi was looking dangerous on the right wing. I thought Loftus-Cheek was combining very well with Eden Hazard.
That last cross, beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, it was looking very good to Chelsea. And like I said, for 119 minutes, you were thinking, Sarri's not only bought himself a bit of time, but I think he's won back the fans a little bit. They were cheering the substitutions. And they were going into the Tottenham League game on Wednesday night full of positivity. And then, in classic Chelsea fashion, it all backfired a little bit. And now we're all talking about this one incident rather than the 119 minutes that preceded it.
Okay, why are we? Now it's the post-match. And I think we were all pretty confounded. And the fact that Sarri couldn't persuade his player off, the fact even I was stunned by Zola screaming at him to come off and him not responding, not only the assistant coach but a club legend. What does that say to you?
It says, look, we have to try and accept the official version.
Which is
a big misunderstanding. That, of course, Kepa went down injured or with cramp. He was treated by the medics. Chelsea then reacted thinking, we better get Caballero on. And then Kepa, who is spoken already very quickly, unsurprisingly, Chelsea put him up forward to explain events. He's put out his version saying, yes, no, I was fine to continue, and that's where the confusion lay because Sarri didn't see that he was okay to continue, and all this, it was almost sort of became a bit of a panto sort of situation in terms of their version of events. But you have to say, the cynics will certainly think that it's a rather convenient explanation. That it might have deeper meanings for it, and certainly, like I said, it completely overshadows everything that preceded that performance, and everyone will again start to question how popular Sarri is amongst the players in that dressing room.
the request had gone in with the officials for the substitution, so that was an official request that Sarri couldn't follow through. Of course, Caballero had done very well in a shootout right here at Wembley. Liverpool, Manchester City made 3 saves, I think, and as much as Sarri said it was just an injury, that is a huge thing for a manager not to be able to carry out a substitution.
Well, and also you've got to remember Caballero is going to obviously know quite a lot of these Manchester City players' penalty techniques. He would have faced them in training. So even if Kepa wasn't injured, there's actually a logic for making the substitution anyway.
Well, perhaps.
And Kepa will argue that he saved a penalty in the semi-final against Spurs in the shootout there. Of course, he did go on to save one from Sane, but before that, He let in an absolute shocker against Aguero, which he really should have stopped. And he was sort of thinking already his apparent defiance or misunderstanding had totally backfired for Chelsea. And you could argue it still did. But, of course, Chelsea will look at the fact that in the penalty shootout, Jorginho had a shot saved, Luiz hit the post. So it wasn't just Kepa, they'll argue. They'll say, look, there were a couple of Chelsea players that missed from the spot. But, like I said, it's going to make for a very unpleasant few days again for Chelsea ahead of what is a massive game on Wednesday night against Spurs.
The machine, though, is showing a sign of support because Kepa has been put up to do an interview. A Spanish journalist found and located Miguel Delaney frantically translating it, and everyone poised to wait to hear what Kepa was saying, that it was a big misunderstanding. So there is a collective from the Chelsea media team to make sure that Kepa's point of view, that it was a misunderstanding, backing Sarri is clear. So we imagine from that means Sarri is very much in charge for the Tottenham game. Yeah.
And I think even if there had been something untoward that happened, Chelsea couldn't come out and sack Sarri now, because it would send a completely wrong signal to everyone that, the dressing room does rule the roost at Stamford Bridge. So no, there's no way after that performance that you can get rid of Sarri. I mean, Sarri might look back on perhaps the way he lost his composure over the whole incident. There's the sort of the unseemly scene of Tony Rudiger having to physically hold him back from approaching Kepa. There was that weird moment before that where he almost looked like he was going to storm off down the tunnel and not even stick around.
During a cut, I mean, that was the one thing that we did a live interview with Clive Allen, a former manager, and we spoke about that. A manager that goes off the pitch during a cup final when the guidance is needed the most, and also straight afterwards at the end when the team had put up such a strong performance. You need your manager out there congratulating the team, saying to keep that momentum up. Yet he went straight into the dressing room again for 10 minutes and only came out when they went up for the consolation medal.
Yeah, but then, I hasten to add, in the post-match press conference and all the post-match interviews, he was keen to stress this line that it'd been a misunderstanding, that him and Kepa are fine now, there's no ongoing issues. But I think we'll really sort of see the effects and whether that's true or not on Wednesday night. How did Chelsea come out in what is actually a bigger game for them and for him? Because, look, yes, of course it'd been nice for him to win his first trophy as a coach and to obviously win one for Chelsea. But in terms of Chelsea's season and for his future, Wednesday night's far bigger. It's all about qualifying for the Champions League. They really need a result against Spurs. Arsenal won, of course, on Sunday. United picked up a point against Liverpool. Chelsea's form in the league has been pretty poor since Spurs beat them at Wembley here 3 months ago. So Chelsea really need a big performance on Wednesday night against Tottenham, a big win for Sarri. And then suddenly it does lift some of the pressure on his shoulders. But I'd only say it would be for now rather than for long term.
Yeah, for clarification, a referee cannot make a player go off. He's actually not got the powers to do that. If a player chooses not to go off and chooses to disobey the request and the want of his manager tactically. Also very interesting that Vincent Kompany asked what he thought when Willy Caballero was coming on. He said, we were worried because he knows us inside out.
Yeah, and he also joked, didn't he? He sort of said, there's many times when I've been substituted that I would love to have done the same thing as Kepa did. So which I thought was quite humorous, sort of trying to, from Man City's point of view, of course, they're smiling. I mean, it's been a great day for them because Liverpool only got a point at Old Trafford. You have to say they've got the first trophy under the bag. That this can have a real knock-on effect for the rest of the season in their pursuit of 3 other trophies. And if you're a Man City fan, Man City player right now, you must be feeling very positive about what the next 3 months lies ahead for them.
And we must mention them winning the title. Many congratulations from Manchester City. I spoke to Bernardo Silva and I said 1 of 4, and he said potentially 1 of 4, but we're not getting away from ourselves. But how impressive was that mentality when they really had been on the back foot of the game, the tactics. Sarri had really turned the screw for them, obviously, to have the mentality in front of the penalty spot.
The top sides always sort of find a way to win, even when they're not at their best. And there's no doubt about it, Manchester City were not at their best today. I think they were taken surprise by Sarri's change of tactics to become more negative, become more Antonio Conte-like. And they sort of got frustrated. I think the fans were frustrated. But like I said, the sign of a top side is they find a way to win somehow. Yes, it went to penalties. I actually thought it was quite fitting as well that the guy that gets the winning penalties at the Chelsea end is Raheem Sterling, the guy that back in December was abused by Chelsea fans and he's had the last laugh over the last couple of weeks. He scored fine brace at the Etihad against him, that 6-0 romp, and then he gets the decisive penalty to beat them in the League Cup.
And what a penalty.
Yeah, there's no stopping those, is there? Kepa, it doesn't matter whether it was Caballero or Kepa, no one was going to stop that one. Emphatic, and it's just his season's going from strength to strength.
He is absolutely up there for player of the year. I've got to also quickly look at events at Old Trafford. Is this really now a question mark over Liverpool's mentality? Because what an opportunity. 3 top-class players go off injured in the first half and they couldn't capitalise on that.
No, yeah, you're right. You have to say it was a missed opportunity. Perhaps beforehand, a point at Old Trafford is they might have taken that. But you just sort of feel like the momentum, when you sort of think back to a few weeks ago when City lost at Newcastle, you just thought all the momentum is in Liverpool's side. It's their title to lose. Well, now that's sort of becoming a bit of a reality. They're only 1 point ahead now. They'll look at the fact they've got a difficult away game out the way, but you just sort of think the momentum is now on City's side. They've been there before and done it. They don't have the weight of history on their side like Liverpool do, who haven't won the title for 29 years.
And as Guardiola always says famously, that you win, as Alex Ferguson has said, when you start winning together, that you really builds the belief. And this dressing room have again done it again.